Hello. This is a prepaid debit call from
Otto Smith.
an inmate at the Madison Correctional Institution.
All right, Taylor, Otto Taylor.
Good to meet you. Good to meet you.
So, Otto, to start us off,
Yeah.
can you introduce yourself and give a brief rundown of your crimes that you're convicted of?
My name is Ernest Otto Smith. I'm convicted of aggravated murder, aggravated robbery, and then capital murder, and offense. In the state of Ohio, I'm convicted of aggravated murder, aggravated robbery, doing 31 to life. And when I'm done with that, I have to go to the fence and do a life without, with a life for capital murder with life without, for murder of the witness in my case, my codependent. So, I mean, that's about it. I went out partying hard one night.
So, Otto, what's prison like for you on a daily basis?
Boring, tedious. It's there. I don't know. It's not very challenging at all. You know, you don't get to see much fun. I did get to see a guy try to hang himself the other day. He was serious about it. Then they had to go cut him down. But I mean, other than that, it's just pretty tediously boring. You know, just same thing every day, same routine, on and on and on. You know, nothing to do. You can't. You know, nothing really changes up. So it's boring. Unless I, find something to do, draw or write or something like that, stay out of the way, get high every now and then. Other than that, it's just boring.
So, Taylor, do you want to give him a brief, rundown of what Murderabilia is before we talk about Murderabilia?
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know how familiar you are. I know that I find that with everybody that Andrew and I talk to, every other person kind of has a different experience and knowledge of the hobby. But basically, I guess the term murderabilia, which some people would use for it, is just the collecting and kind of curation of true crime related artifacts, whether that is, drawings and paintings work done in prison, whether that's like, a little sample collected from a crime scene, or even like, newspapers with an article on a crime. Like, it kind of has a lot of endless possibilities, but within the context of talking to inmates, often we're mainly referring to, paintings or hand tracings or letters or arts and crafts things sent out of prison from inmates. That's sort of the main thing that I'm always curious about getting people's thoughts on.
All right, I've written a book. It's on Amazon. Sold it, well, it's everywhere, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, all that. I got into writing a little bit ago because I look at the world kind of weird, and I try to explain it through the characters that I write. Through draw characters that go through situations I've placed myself in life, and explore other avenues where I use violence to get out of them. I try to write characters and fully look at the whole, try to round out a character situation, plan them in a situation, and write it out, see where it would go if they reacted differently than I did in the past. I generally settle stuff violently. I try to write it out, do some thinking about it. But I've done paintings, watercolors most of my life, so, I don't collect anything from other people, but I mean, if people are interested, I'd gladly do some paintings. I'm starting some in blood, so I've been wanting to watercolor in blood, but they think I'm crazy here at the prison for wanting to do that or for trying to do that. So I got to be careful I don't get in trouble and put in the hole for using blood. But
so it's definitely something. Not only are you aware of it, but you seem to be at least have an understanding of why somebody would be interested in your fine kind of contributing that to that sort of industry and that I shouldn't say underworld, but I guess that kind of darker hobby that some people have. Don't see a problem with.
Well, it's a dark hobby. I mean, I don't judge people for what they collect or what they do. You know, who the hell am I to judge? But you know, I don't have a problem with painting and stuff like that. I like the idea that people would want some darker stuff. You know, that might, because where else could you, who else could I paint a virgin hooker for? You know, I want to dress the Virgin Mary up as a hooker and put all kinds of drug paraphernalia around her, and who else would buy that, or who else would be interested in that? If people ever have with a more darker sense of life,
For sure.
So,
How do you feel about people wanting to befriend you, reaching out to solely to gain some type of serial killer memento, such as a painting or an autograph from you?
I'll learn it. That's kind of, I don't really like it. I've had several people write me letters one time, and you write them back, and they won't email, they won't do email or whatever. It's just they want letters. They want you to write letters. I don't really dig that. I mean, if you reach out, you want people that just want to get a letter, they should write. Just say that, and I'll write them a postcard or. But that's kind of, I get a lot of mail like that. I get people that they're not serious about wanting to write or talk or befriend, and even a painting. I'm pretty easy to get along with, but I don't know. I don't like the ones that just want to get a letter and don't say it. Just say it. Write me and say, hey, man, I only want to get a letter from you or an autograph. Fuck, I'll autograph a picture and send it to them. I'll outline my dick on a piece of paper and send it to them if that's what the fuck they want. But at least be honest about it, Hey, how you doing? Da-da-da-da-da. I thought I didn't want to write. Did you write it back? You never hear anything else from them. Fucking assholes. That's basically how I feel about them.
More often than not, it seems to be the case that as long as you're being genuine with somebody in that kind of situation, like there's some inmates I know who really are opposed to people profiting off of anything or collecting anything to do with this stuff, but there's a lot of people who seem to just be like, yeah, that's something you're interested in, whatever. We don't necessarily have to be friends or anything, just don't put on a facade.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. If you want a letter from me, just say you want a letter from me. If you want a picture from me, say you want a picture. But collect what you collect, and if resell it if that's what you do. But don't have me, especially with mail today. Mail in the prison system is it's very hard anymore to send mail out or get mail in because everybody's going to electronic emails and stuff like that. So, if I go through the problem of writing out a letter, responding to a person's letter that writes me, I go through the hassle of sending them a letter, at least they should be genuine. They should be desire. They just want a letter to keep, fine, I'll send them a letter. But it's like they're scared that if they tell you the truth, they say, hey, I just want to collect your signature. I'll still send them something, but, there's a lot of disingenuous people. As far as people making money off of anything I sell them or send them, I don't care about that. I mean, I don't care about that,
Yeah, it seems like with kind of don't like to think about.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Yeah, I didn't hear what you said. I'm gonna have to call you back.
Sure. Yeah. I'll restate the call back. But people tend to kind of look at people in prison not as people anymore, as humans anymore, and it's like regardless of what somebody's done to end up with.
Exactly.
Beings, they need to have some kind of respect and some kind of respect and appreciation given, regardless of the circumstance, especially if you have an ulterior motive with getting something from them or something like that,
Yeah, they don't see you as human until you're standing over their bed with a machete in your hand.
Yeah. I don't know if that's that way, but that'd be my thoughts on it. Yeah.
Yeah, if people want to collect stuff and write, just be honest. If they're freaks that want to know, and I'm not saying freak in a bad way, that want to know what it feels like to kill somebody or whatever, yeah, I'll talk to them about that. If they want to, whatever it is, I'll write them about it and be honest with them. But that's just what Taylor said. They need to be genuine in their desires. If they want to collect some of my darker work and they're not opposed to some dark painting subject matters, that's fine too. But just be honest about stuff, And
For sure.
if they collect my writing, if they read any of my short stories or any of my books or anything like that, to honestly tell me about it, give me honest feedback on it. That's how do you think about it? What do you think about it? So I can, because I see the world through a different set of lenses than other people do. I don't like bullies. I don't like assholes. But I understand everybody is a bully and everybody is an asshole at one time or another in their life. So that's about it.
So Otto,
Don't talk about that.
so Otto, why do you think people are so interested in murderers to the point that they're willing to collect something from somebody like yourself as a memento of sorts?
because murders or killing is considered a crime. It's considered socially unacceptable unless you're in someone's declared war or unless you're defending yourself. We as a species of human species have made it illegal or are immoral, and it's just a taboo. So when you meet somebody that's crossed that taboo line, it's interesting to them. Or some people wish they could, and they maybe reach out. They makes them feel a little. They wish they could have the strength to step outside and put it into somebody's life or something, and writing or talking to us is what they get a kick out of because it's makes them closer to it. It's kind of like knowing a porn star. Everybody wants to know a porn star. You know what I mean? Would brag about it. Something to brag about. Oh, I know a porn star. But what guy would ever want to go to bed with a porn star?
Mm-hmm.
How your manhood would instantly you couldn't help but be measuring your own manhood by everything you see this person do, or a woman with a dude. Everybody wants these taboos. They want to get close to them. They want to be friends with somebody that's crossed that taboo line, and it's an easy line to cross. It's the easiest thing in the world to get away with. Murder, I don't care what anybody says, murder is very easy to get away with. Killing somebody isn't, but murder is. Killing somebody is unconscious act that you do. You didn't consciously put any thought in it. Murder, you can decide to murder somebody and get away with it in a heartbeat. So, some people wish that they're the defender, or that they see they see themselves as weak in the world, and they want to live through your strength, I guess, or be a little closer to you. But I guess a porn star would be about the best analogy. Everybody wants to know a porn star, but nobody wants to, to go to bed with a porn star. You'd always be wondering how you measured it up.
No, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just getting used to this, murderabilia thing and everything, and I don't mind the paintings. I like a group of people I can send some nastier artwork to, or not really nasty, but darker art. You know, I appreciate that because it lets you be creative. I draw portraits for people and paint them and stuff, but I'd rather do stuff where I could be dark. Where I can let my feelings out.
So, what do you? There's been kind of in the past a few times, and I think I kind of know what your feelings would be on it. But, been initiatives taken to try and get art supplies taken away from inmates, or make it so that inmates can't send things out of prison, certain things out of prison, or create art or anything like that, just to kind of things to kind of dismantle the sort of kind of system of buying and selling and trading true crime items like this. And I guess it seems like a double-edged sword of like people trying to look out for maybe the families of victims who would be offended, but also trying to derail this little sort of underground market. And how do you feel about
the state's not going to get it off because everything else in the state, like this fold is that I have in my hand right now. All the states have sold out. One, legally, I couldn't send you a bloody T-shirt with that came from my crime. Here's the T-shirt I was wearing when I killed this motherfucker. It's got blood on it. I couldn't give you that because that would be profiting off of the crime. But I can sit in prison and draw and paint, and they can't stop that. Now, they can make it and say, well, you've got to send it to a family member, because that's a rule, or it could be a rule. That's fine. But nobody's going to really try to stop it as long as prisons are letting companies in to make money, like this phone company. This phone company wants me to spend $30 to $100 a month, or as much as they want all these inmates to send. So as long as there's money to be made, people will cry about it, but the state's never going to step in and stop it, or the feds. The feds are the hardest. We'll always find a way around it. I'm allowed to make money off of my art or talent. I'm just not allowed to make money off of my crime. Off of my crime. So, but it'll never stop. They'll keep putting the rules out, but you got to remember, as long as there's companies like email companies, as long as they're selling us TVs, as long as we need money and they stand that they see us as a market, the prison as a market, they'll never completely stop it.
For sure.
Because believe it or not, you can invest in companies that service prisons and Airmark. I mean, I can list 50 companies that you can buy stocks in, and their sole market is prison. So as long as you've got companies that you can connect and you can do that, and they're never going to stop us from they'll try to make it look like they're morally or trying to do something, but they can't. They ain't going to stop shit.
For sure.
But,
so Otto, going off that last bit, do you think you should be able to profit off of your crime? Why or why not?
Well, yeah, I think you should be able to use it to grow. I mean, it should be something that you've got to be able to grow. I mean, don't make it where it's a taboo, because when it's a taboo, nobody thinks about it. If corrections are meant to have rehabilitation, if they truly mean there's rehabilitation, okay, which is shit in itself, but if there are departments of rehabilitation, then you shouldn't have any restrictions on what a person does with a story. You should make it where a person has the opportunity to sit there, where the murderer has the opportunity to sit there and think about the left and right of it. Was it right to kill these people? Was it wrong to kill these people? Why did I do that? Why not? But when you instantly make it where you make it a taboo story that he can't do anything with, nobody ever thinks about it. Nobody sits in prison and thinks about, why did I do that? Aim at things. You fundamentally focus on your outdate or your pro. But people would they self-analyze. They look at why they did what they did, and maybe write it out so some other kid doesn't do it. Get all emotional, go off and fucking kill somebody. But they make it where it's taboo and nobody, so everybody forgets. So after guilt, what do you do after you accept that you're guilty? That's what it stops. It stops anybody from, growing.
I was just going to say, I've always found it kind of interesting that it seems as though people are fine with anybody else aside from somebody convicted making any amount of money off of a crime, whether it's a TV series or a true crime author or a journalist. It's totally fine for, there's no kind of moral recourse for anybody at all in any way having their piece of that pie.
But the prisoner shouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Make anything off of it. Well, that's because they believe in life without parole. They don't they have to get on the street. This person's going to go back to the street. I think they want you to be kind of sin if you benefit from from what you did. And I don't get it. I think it's a lot. They pay a lot of lip service to it, because nobody's out there going to really get rich off of their paintings or anything like that.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting. But morally, if you've got to think about your crime, that if they would make all of us sit down and write about our crimes, then we would be reviewing it. And we'd come up. You can't help but self-analyzation and learn about yourself.
Yeah.
And maybe not go back out there and kill again. Or hurt somebody again. You know what I mean? But it's and I guess that's not the best way to put it. I mean, I think that they should make everybody have to self-analyze better. And but it's a taboo that I know they give you guys trouble, probably give you guys trouble getting stuff out of prisons. But because it's hard for me to get a book publisher in prison because of the bail, problems with bail and stuff like that. But trust me, they'll never totally just block it off. They will never totally stop it or block it off because prisons depend on outside money. They depend on our families giving us money and stuff like that. If they really wanted to stop it, they'd put you in a non-communication unit or something like that. But they don't even have any of that stuff. So and morals, I guess. Yeah, it's morals. How do you morally feel about somebody who killed somebody?
Well, it's interesting. All the people that I've talked to, at least, I've never heard anybody ask that. But I definitely a lot of the criticism that
You have 1
I say a lot of the criticism
remaining.
Sorry about that. The criticism I get from people is being like, oh, you were supporting this person or glorifying somebody or perpetuating violence. And for me, it's happened, right? Like I'm not causing more crimes or influencing any crimes in having a curiosity into this stuff. It's I'm not going to pass a judgment on somebody from something that's already happened. I'm just curious to, if I want to learn about that person or have that from them, that's already happened. It's beside the point.
When I call back, I just thought of something really good to put it in perspective for you. Let me call you right back.
Sure. Right.
Thank you for using GTL.
So it sounds like Taylor, you catch criticism for facilitating us, or for facilitating our marketing Murderabilia?
Yeah, well, on certain platforms, I'll have things, even when I'm trying to, archive maybe some audio nobody's heard, or upload some interesting photos nobody's seen for a kind of archival and research purposes. I'll sometimes get criticism from a certain platform about it perpetuating violence or glorifying something, whereas what I'm trying to do is just kind of help create a historical record. Yeah.
Well, okay, you take the book that I wrote. It's called Life Against the Current. I'll plug it, fuck it. Every woman that has read this book, all the women that I've got nothing but 5-star, 4 or 5-star ratings on it, because I never would have. When you read it, you read the positions. This is created after me thinking out. I had to think out these things from the mistakes I made. And it's not an autobiography or anything like that, but, it's a good story. But without somebody like you out there to put, a platform, that the inmate will sit in prison, and instead of thinking about positive or looking at his crime and looking at the future in a positive light, you just stay negative. You know what I mean? You just get worse and worse and worse. You don't get better. I feel I'm a better person now because I look at my life. I understand the difference between killing a person and murdering a person. I understand when I crossed that line. Because I've done both. I've killed people, and I've murdered people. And I understand the difference between the two now. Now, maybe I can explain that to some kid somewhere, or maybe through my writing. Well, without people like you, nothing gets out there. Without people like you and Andy, nothing gets out there. I mean, I've opened myself up for a lot of criticism out of people. By me doing podcasts, I got family members that don't want to talk to me anymore, and it's only because they're the ones that couldn't accept what I did. But I'd rather have it all out there and have it where somebody can learn from it. Than to have it sit and be rotten in the back. Just nobody. Look, have you ever walked in a graveyard and seen the word asshole written on anybody's tombstone?
No.
Well, everybody wants to die, or when they're dead, they want to bury their dead like these people were perfect. And these stories and the wrongs they did in their life, instead of becoming lessons for the future, they become, they get buried, forgotten. You know what I mean? I think that whatever you did in your life should be written on your fucking tombstone. If you were a pervert, write the word fucking pervert. You know what I mean? This will stop people. It'll cause people to learn from the past. But burying the past, I mean, you bury the past under a nice shiny tombstone that says, I was a good person. Doesn't make you a good person, And that's what they're doing with you. They just want to bury it. And I guess it's the criticism of you doing that is burying it. If you were doing it in some tasteless fashion, you know what I mean? Some vulgar, tasteless shit. Yeah, I can see it. You know what I mean? I can see criticizing you. But you don't sound like the type of guy that's out there. Got a picture of Sharon Tate cut open belly on and printed on a T-shirt. You know what I mean? That'd be kind of tasteless. A Jeffrey Dahmer cookbook for a recipe book from Jeffrey Dahmer, that'd be kind of tasteless. You know what I mean?
For sure. Definitely.
Somebody needs to make a merit badge for surviving John Wayne Gacy for the Boy Scouts. You're not making T-shirts that say 9 out of 10 priests think altar boys are adorable. That'd be pretty tasteless, but true. It's funny. Funny, but tasteless.
Within almost anything in life, I think that there's subtlety to everything, right? A lot of people don't really want to accept that they want to just have it be black and white, and you can't really.
That's
Things don't work
because everybody wants to judge everybody. And everybody wants to judge everybody, especially when the person you're judging isn't standing there.
Yeah.
I learned in here that there's motherfuckers will say anything when they're behind a $10,000 door, and I can't get to them. They'll say whatever comes to mind as long as they know you can't get to them.
Yeah.
But if you're there where you can confront them, and what they don't understand is killing would become a last. The last thing I want to do is make my time any harder in here. So we can have a conversation, but that's the same with you. You're miles away from people, so nobody's saying anything directly to you. They're saying it through a safety net, voiced it through the safety of the internet or phones or anything else. And you're not standing right there because people act different when you're standing right there. It's like I said earlier, it's all fun and games till you wake up and I'm standing over top of your fucking bed with a fucking machine in a bad attitude. It sucks to be that way, but it's the truth, It's all fun and games. But, we need marketplaces where I think you should tell people that you're at least providing an option for someone to learn from these events.
Yeah, I mean that's the goal at the end of the day. Regardless of the criticism, I don't have a moral issue with it, and I definitely know that for anything that I do that might be bothersome or offensive to somebody, I've also done positive. I think anyone who kind of deals in this sort of thing or works in this sort of world, regardless of, if somebody makes a documentary and somebody's hurt at this stuff being out there, it's helpful in some way to somebody else, whether there's keeping themselves safe or educating themselves or, there's a lot of different variables to it.
Yeah, as long as you're, not highlighting it in such a fashion as to promote it where, like you're out there promoting somebody going around and killing everybody in God's great acres. You don't learn. When we hide stuff, man, things go when we hide you as bad. When we don't confront you as the what we consider morally bad or wrong. When we bury it and hide it. Look how many families have got a weirdo in a child molester, and the grandmother just doesn't say anything to anybody. They don't want Uncle Joey to be considered bad or whatever. You know what I mean? So Uncle Joey continues on being Uncle Joey, a fucking idiot, hurts kids. Then the kids grow up to hurt people. And that's just from hiding it. And you're an outlet, at least. You're an outlet. You're allowing people an opportunity to do. To still be human and possibly learn from them. That's the way you got to look at it.
That's kind of the idea.
If it was, I've got people that have wrote me asking me to tell them how it feels to kill or murder and stuff, and I really, I write it back, and I'd rather hear how it feels to go fishing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So. They're dark in their own world. Now if I was writing them and promoting that they go out and kill their wife or something like that, that would be totally wrong. But I don't see too many guys in this prison doing that. I don't. And it's morals, man. We were told that this is a crime, that death is a crime, and murder is a crime, and killing is a crime. Morally, it's sinful. It's sinful and all that, but. If you think about cavemen, man, the cavemen were brutal motherfuckers, man. It is human nature to be brutal. You just seriously consider going back in time to the caveman days. Shit, it's our nature to kill. It would be our nature to kill and not to grieve about it, not to bat a fucking eye about it. Because if me and you went hunting, you got killed, your old lady would have to wash herself up and quickly find another hunter.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have time to grieve over your dead body if they even brought it back. We're a brutal species, but we try to we're going to act like we're not. We're brutal.
For sure.
Where are you located?
I'm in Canada.
Oh, you're in Canada?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You guys have more genteel area, and you're much more humane people, or at least
That's what I kind of hear from an outside perspective. We definitely have a very different legal system. We don't have the death penalty. We have the legal system and the prison system seems very different up here compared to almost anywhere in the States.
Well, every state's different, and on sentences and everything else. But one thing that's nationwide is we've got big corporations that are making billions of dollars off of prisons, and that's why I promise you they'll never close any loopholes as far as that goes. They're never going to stop us from spending our stuff out. In fact, I'm waiting on some art supplies right now to come in. In fact, they make it easy for us to buy this stuff, so we'll always be able to send stuff out, even if Andy said, let's say they change the rules and I can only send it to somebody on my visiting list, then you or Andy would have to get on my visiting list. That's like a big deal, you know what I mean? So, I shot somebody in Toronto.
In Toronto?
I shot somebody, Toronto, Canada, in 1989.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I hurt him very bad, but I had a little went up there for a little bit. Late 1989.
Yeah, it's definitely a. I spend a lot of time. Yeah. I spend a lot of time in the sexuality, the way people think about the judicial system and crime. It's very different, let alone the actual system. People's opinions on it are so night and day just across the border,
I believe in the death penalty, but I think they apply it wrong. I don't think you should make a guy sit for 20 years and then kill him, because he's not the same guy. When you kill him, that is not the same person that he was when he committed that crime. So, in a sense, I guess I'm against the death penalty, but you can't. When they came at me when they were trying to give me the death penalty, I didn't duck it. I kept trying. I had problems out of my lawyers. My attorneys were all over the place. Like, no, I don't care, man. I'm not afraid of it.
You have 1 minute remaining.
It's not that I want to die, but I've spent my whole life where I understand it. Life in prison without parole is worse than the death penalty. It's worse than because I'm not the same person I was. And nobody is. I'll call you. I got to call you all right back. Life without is. It goes back to the learning thing. The guy has no reason to learn or to look at what he did, to self-analyze, or to learn and to try to become a better person, because life without. And, some people say it's evil to put somebody to sleep. I don't think it would be evil to put somebody to sleep if they truly did something horrendous. I've made that judgment. I've made that judgment myself with everybody I ever murdered. You know what I mean? So who the fuck am I to decide, to all of a sudden, what gives me the right to make that decision that somebody's life is worth terminating? It's more valuable to terminate, or it's worth more to go ahead and kill this person than the state. But if they would apply it right, instead of taking 10 and 15 years, you know, you're not the same person 10 and 15 years from now. So, and life without is life without doesn't teach anybody anything, you know. It really doesn't, you know. It doesn't help a soul. You know, they should let a guy like me out where I could go to work at a juvenile center. Pay life back, pay the world back through, I don't care, you're convict for the rest of your life, but you work at something positive. Towards doing something positive. You know what I mean? But, so I'm sorry that you get grief for at least giving us a positive outlet. You know?
That's not, you know, people can think what they want to think. It's not going to change how I feel about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but I do. I mean, it sucks that you catch any static for it, but at the same time, the people you're catching static from probably would never say a crossword in their life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, outside of through the internet or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
But and to me, that's sadness. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather get beat up for saying what's on my mind than not. You know?
That's for sure.
You know? Okay. Any more questions?
So, before we get out of here, is there anything that you'd like to talk about that we haven't covered yet?
Not really, other than I would like to plug my book, and I want people to read it and to actually criticize me. Be critical of it. Read it in a critical fashion. It's Life Against the Current. It's at Barnes & Noble. It's at Walmart. It's on Amazon. It's called Life Against the Current by Otto Smith. And take a look at it, read it, and criticize me. If you think I'm wrong for what I've written, tell me. If you think I'm right, tell me. But because it'll help me. I've got 2 more I'm working on, and I'm trying to write books about murder, about actually the content from the murderer's standpoint. You know, the right and wrong of it. You know, and I'd like some critical reviews if I could get them. You know, I'm not trying to hawk make $1 million or anything, but if you want to read it, it's like I said, it's on Barnes & Nobles. It's at Amazon. It's at Walmart. It's in Canada. It's all over the place. It's called Life Against the Current by Otto Smith. And please read it and email me and tell me I'm a fuckhead, or tell me you like it. Tell me where your opinions on it. Because the only way I'll get better is by hearing from people.